Hello, peace and sanity be unto you. I'm Hassan Rashid, and I welcome you to another episode of your Human Service News and Information. Hello, Cambridge. It's excellent being here with you, and it's such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here daily at CCTV. With that, once again, I greet you with the cordial of peace and sanity. Okay, last time I promised you that since this week is National Hunger and Homeless Week, that we would celebrate hunger and homelessness here at the CCTV on the broadcast, and hopefully we tried to get a guest from the homeless sector, MOSAIC, to pair with us today and help us celebrate this occasion, which is the National Week of Hunger and Homelessness, which began around the 12th of November, and it will run until the 22nd, the 22nd of November, that week, between the 20th and 22nd of that week. So today, since we weren't able to get a guest from the homeless sector and MOSAIC to appear with us today, we're just going to briefly run through some things about homelessness as it affected us nationally, statewide, and locally. And that means that we have some information from the government, federal and state and the local government pertaining to homelessness, the world of the national, state, and local world of homelessness. And also, I promised that we'll try to go into some more detail, finer detail of what a homeless trust fund is, and my progress in influencing the local city policymakers on enacting a local ordinance which will establish a homeless trust fund here in Cambridge. Much needed assistance to be applied towards the elimination and eradication of homelessness as it exists here in our region, the Cambridge region. Okay. First, I'd like to give you a brief walk. We don't have much time, so I'm just going to briefly run through this. And the first subject is federal programs targeted to homelessness. Okay, I'm going to give you a list of federal programs, but if we don't go into this extensively today, there's other occasions, there's other episodes of Human Service News and Information that we can cover more of these points in detail. Okay, so there's the first program, which is a federal program, which encompasses all efforts in the United States to eradicate and end homelessness, and that is called the Opening Doors programs. And the federal programs targeted to end homelessness are vital, but not sufficient to achieve the goal of ending homelessness for all Americans, as describing, the Opening Doors program, which encompasses everything. It's at the top of the list of government priorities. We must also enlist the largest set of federal, state, and local programs that serve low-income Americans. Okay, so there's one program that's transitional assistance. There's another, Medicaid, housing choice vouchers, providing housing, health care, income support, and other forms of assistance. Many are significantly larger in scale than targeted homelessness programs that offer forms of assistance. The targeted programs cannot. Some can help finance essential housing and services intervention, like supportive housing and rapid rehousing, that serves as the backbone of efforts to prevent and end homelessness. So some of the other mainstream government efforts are housing choice voucher and public housing. These programs can be applied to eliminating homelessness. There's multifamily housing, and there's also home investment partnership program. That's acronym HOME. There's also healthcare. Now, healthcare, Medicaid can also be used to apply to eliminate and eradicate homelessness, if you didn't know that. So there's a supplemental security income, Social Security, disability benefits, and that can also be applied towards ending homelessness, temporary assistance for needy family, that's TANF, and that can definitely be applied for ending homelessness. And there's educational employment, Head Start, okay, and families experiencing homelessness are most often headed by a single woman in her late 20s with approximately 2 children, one or both younger than 6 years old. So that's definitely a plus as far as being applied to ending homelessness. And there's also human services, child welfare. Existing research highlights the prevalence of homelessness among families and children involved with the child welfare system and support efforts to strengthen services coordination between the system that families interact with. So that's okay. And there's other human services program. You should also engage with other human services program. That is, if you're an advocate out there trying to work towards the end of homelessness, you should also engage with other human service programs and sources in your community, including community service block grants, community development block grants, and social service block grants, and the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP, to explore how they can support your efforts to end homelessness. You might also want to review the federal resources that can fund rapid rehousing. So all these different things that I've just mentioned can be applied towards ending homelessness locally in our region. Working together to end homelessness, people need a stable home to improve their health, education, economic self-sufficiency. Addressing homelessness is integral to the broader mission and mandates of programs and systems serving all low-income Americans by bringing a state and local agency administration, mainstream program, and resources into our comprehensive system for preventing and ending homelessness. We can and will end homelessness in this country. So all those different programs and priority on the federal priority list to end homelessness. This time we won't be able to go into them detail, but I'll just give you a brief run to and give you some type of anticipation of what you can expect in forthcoming human service news and information broadcasts right here at CCTV. Okay, now the Cambridge Continuum of Care and the Public Housing Association collaboration. Now, these people, these two entities, COC they work out of the Human Service office at the city. It's a municipal office. It's a municipal department, and the Public Housing Administration is like private corporation that deal in low-income housing, but these two agencies, the COC, which is acronym for Continuum of Care, which is an umbrella group of human service providers that provide assistance to homeless people throughout the region. And you all know what public housing assistance is. There's the Cambridge Public Housing, and that's the Cambridge Housing Authority, okay? So these two groups can work together and collaborate in ending homelessness. I don't know what their efforts are now, but hopefully we can get somebody in from those two groups and explain what they're doing to end homelessness in our region. But also they're federally mandated to work towards the ending of homelessness, you know. And also there's a on the federal level, there is what's known as a 10-year plan to end homelessness, but this plan it works towards it's a plan for outcomes to end homelessness, and there's efforts there. The subtitle and 10-year plan are some of the subtitles for this 10-year plan are plan for outcomes, close the front door, open the back door, build the infrastructure. So the government is very busy in trying to end homelessness. And what is a 10-year plan to end homelessness? The problems of homelessness, many say, is unsolvable. Communities across the country have struggled with getting homeless people off the streets by building shelters, transitional housing, and soup kitchens. All of these strategies help address the immediate needs of our nation. Homeless people, by providing food and temporary shelter, they have not been successful in addressing homelessness, leaving communities across the country frustrated and hopeless. So I'm going to go into the history of the 10-year plan on the federal level, but not this time. But I will tell you that there is a 10-year plan to end homelessness, a local 10-year plan to end homelessness, but it's entering the final 10th year. So what's going on at the City Hall is that the policymakers are in the process of recalibrating this 10-year plan in homelessness for another 10 years. So soon as developments arise or happen in that area, we will bring you an update on that. But so I'm going to read you a brief, another thing that's happened this year, another important thing that happened this year towards ending low-income housing, very low-income people and extremely low-income people to get them housing. Okay, so the president, Faith-Based Advisory Council, advocates for the Homeless Trust Fund and housing vouchers. Now, there's a national homeless trust fund that's just being applied. It's just starting this year. So that's not a local homeless trust fund. What I've been trying to encourage the city council to adopt. But this is a housing trust fund on a national level. So, but right now, this episode, we don't have much time to go into the details, but we'll eventually get around to it, okay, if it's God's will. The White House Advisory Council on Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships released a report detailing recommendations for addressing poverty and inequality. The council discussed how the Housing Urban Development Department programs are a proven tool for ending poverty, okay, highlights how these programs have reduce homelessness, lifted families out of poverty, and improved children's educational and economic outcomes. The report includes several policy recommendations around affordable housing, including implementing small area fair market rents for housing choice vouchers, and ensuring the National Housing Trust Fund serves the lowest income families. So we're going to be, in future episodes, we're going to go into more detail on those items, okay? Okay, I have to move on before we get here locally. Okay, there was one more thing that happened this year. Key elements, the McKinney-Vento Act takes effect. It took effect October 1st, marks the date when a number of new provisions to the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, as amended by the Every Student Success Act, took effect October 1st this year. These new provisions strengthen the ability of children and youth experiencing homelessness to enroll, attend, and succeed in school. They also require even closer collaborations between state and local educational agencies and the homelessness service system across communities and states. To help you do that, work. Okay. This is another going off into another area. That's okay. But that's just another thing that happened this year, which involves the housing arena and the homelessness. Okay, that's the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, as amended by the Every Student Succeed Act, okay? So, okay, there's another development that happened this year, and that was the affirmative further fair housing. Okay, the long-awaited final rule extended to improve the obligation to affirmatively further fair housing choice was published in the Federal Register. Okay, that's another thing that we're going to be trying to cover too, affirmative furthering fair housing. Okay, I want to move right along. Okay, we have a fact sheet on the 10-year plan to end homelessness, but we won't do that today. Okay, we will, here we go. Okay, I'd like to, before we continue, I'd like to bring some local information to your attention. Okay, Thanksgiving. You know, it's just about Thanksgiving time. Okay, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So tonight at the Senior Center, Wednesday, that's November 16th at 6 p.m., there's turkey, sides, and desserts for all. So if you're not doing anything and you like good fellowship or camaraderie, and join the a lot of the homeless poor people will be at this Thanksgiving dinner, so you can come out and meet some of your local poor people and low income, etc., etc. There are going to be some of everybody there, even from the city council, a cross section of community citizenry and residents will be right here at the Thanksgiving dinner at the Senior Center Wednesday. That's tonight, November 16th at 6 p.m. Turkey sides and desserts for all. This is a wonderful dinner sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. Hope to see everyone there. That's tonight, once again, at the Cambridge Senior Center. That's right across the street from City Hall, okay? So tomorrow at the Cambridge YWCA, that's the Cambridge Women's YWCA, that's Thursday, November 17th, 12 to 2 p.m. They'll be doing the same thing. They'll be serving turkey sides and desserts for all. Hope to see everyone. So there's 2 occasions, free Thanksgiving meals for everyone. So the whole community is invited to come out and join them. That's tonight at 6 p.m. at the Cambridge Senior Center, right across the street from the City Hall, and tomorrow at the Cambridge Women's Y. That's Women's Y WCA tomorrow, November 17th, 12 to 2 p.m. And they're going to be also having turkey sides and desserts and a lot of fellowship. So you come on out and enjoy yourself on the holidays. Okay. One more notice, local notice. I'd like to advise you that there are resources for people homeless in Cambridge during extreme winter weather. That's 2016. Okay, so there's emergency shelter night. Okay, so if when the weather gets too bad, and the homeless people, if you know homeless people up the street, you see them, you can tell them that they can get shelter and get in and out the cold and get warm, etc., etc., at the Casper Emergency Service Center, 240 Albany Street, Cambridge. And there's telephone number 617-661-0600. There's the First Church Shelter, men only, 11 Garden Street, 617-661-1873. And this is referral required, but you got the telephone number, so you can call and advise them how can you get people out of the cold due to extreme winter weather. So there's Harvest Square Homeless Shelter. That's a 66 Winthrop Street, Cambridge, 617-547-2841. There's Heading Home Shelter, 109 School Street, Cambridge, 617-547-1885. So Salvation Army Shelter, men only, 402 Massachusetts Avenue, Cambridge, 617-547-3400. St. Patrick's Women's Shelter, women only, 270 Washington Street, Somerville, 617-628-3015. And there's a Y2Y Youth Shelter, ages 18 to 24, on 1 Church Street, 617-864-0795. And this is due to anticipated bad weather this winter. So you can help get people into shelter so you don't hear anything about people dying on the streets, lack of shelter, of hypothermia. Okay, there's a daily drop-in center, AIDS Action Drop-In and Needle Exchange. That's 359 Grange Street, Cambridge. And hours are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for people living with HIV/AIDS or who inject drugs. Okay, Cambridge Multi-Service Center. That's a 362 Green Street, Cambridge. Their number is 617-349. 6340, and their hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday to Thursday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. Friday, 8:30 to 12 p.m. And a citywide senior center, ages 60 plus only, 806 Massachusetts Avenue. And by the way, that's the address where they're going to have the Thanksgiving dinner tonight at 6 o'clock. Their number is 617-349-6060. And their office hours are Monday, 8:30 to 8 p.m., Tuesday to Thursday, 8:30 to 5 p.m., and Friday, 8:30 to 3 p.m., Saturdays, 8:30 to 1 p.m. So there's also a Heading Home Drop-In, women only, 109 School Street, 617-547-1885. There's On the Rise Safe Haven, women's only, 341 Broadway, Cambridge, 617-497-7968. And once again, there's the Salvation Army. That's 402 Massachusetts Avenue, Cambridge, 617-547-3400. So those are locations where people can get assistance if we experience bad weather, terrible bad weather, extremely bad conditions for people, except homeless people, especially homeless people. We can help get them off the streets this winter. Okay. There's also one more thing I promised you. I don't know if we got time. I did promise you that we would try to introduce you to what a homeless trust fund is. Okay. Okay. So if we have time, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a homeless trust fund. Okay. A homeless trust fund is a survival strategy tool. Okay, and for the to address the problem of homelessness. Okay. Homeless trust funds are created when dedicated sources of public funds are committed by ordinance or legislation to support the production and preservation of homes for the homeless. Okay, there are three key elements of a homeless trust fund. Okay, one, administration. Most homeless trust funds are administered by a public or quasi-public agency. There are alternatives such as nonprofit or community development, financial institutions, administrations administrating the funds. Two, board, the operation of an appointed oversight or advisory board. Okay, and number three, program. The basic programmatic issues for a homeless trust fund should be defined in the ordinance or legislation that establish the funds. So there are three key elements, once again, administration, board, and program of a homeless trust fund. Okay, okay, so creating a homeless trust fund is a proactive step that makes systematic changes in the local homeless housing world. It takes an active homeless trust fund campaign as a priority that will help elected officials make the right decisions. A homeless trust fund is creating the political will to make it happen. That is to end homelessness. Homelessness is a community problem. The community as a whole and each individual within that community in their own way should participate in the solution, including advocating for adequate funded tax-supported programs to raise homeless Americans out of poverty and keep others from sinking into poverty and homelessness. That takes more than charity. It takes building political will. So with that, I like to say that's where the campaign to establish a homeless trust fund is at right now. It's at the point of we're attempting to build political wills at the City Hall here and to convince the Human Service and Veterans Committees to move this agenda item forward onto enactment of a local ordinance to establish a homeless trust fund. Okay, and okay, I'm gonna end it right there, and next time we'll go into it a little bit further. But okay, once again, I'd like to remind you that there's a Thanksgiving meal, and your public's invited to come out. That's 6 p.m. today at the Cambridge Citywide Senior Citizens Center. I am Hassan Rashid. You know, it's always excellent being here with you, and it's a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here at CCTV. So I thank you once again for allowing us to come into your lives. And until next time, I'll leave you with the fact that always keep your nose clean, play it straight, and don't forget to assist someone in need of your help. Until next time, I leave you once again with the cordial of peace and sanity.